it made me think like there's a lot to unpack with how we identify ourselves. And it's kind of fitting. He was saying we can never see ourselves. He's a photographer. He wants to explore that more. That is really good. Yeah, as a photographer, I'm sure that's so evident. And having to like position people, photograph them, and especially to have like a keen eye on capturing someone's beauty. I'm sure you see that a lot. To me, you give Oracle and Majestic. Thank you. When I redecorated my bathroom, that's what my son said. He was like, oh, it looks majestic in here. I'm like, oh, that wasn't what I was going for, but I like that. But that's even how she described me. And she's known me. We were really good friends in like 7th, 8th grade. And she's always like, you're so interesting to me. Hey, Tony. And even how she described me in middle school, it's like, girl, in middle school, I thought I was such a nerd. I did not think of myself as cool in any type of way. So thank you for that. But it's so interesting how other people see you. But today's card of the day also made me like unpack this idea of identity even further. Today was the Wheel of Fortune. And on the Wheel of Fortune, it tells the story of the Fool. With the Fool's journey in tarot speaks to the journey of like transformation. And so once we get to the Wheel of Fortune, it's like a change happens. So before the Wheel of Fortune, you get the Hermit card. The Hermit is about like isolation, going inward, being in meditation, all of these things. And when you go inward, whenever we go inward, whenever we are returning back home to ourselves, it is always to change. It is always going back to like reclaim a lost aspect of ourselves. It's always to go back to remember something. It's always to go back to get our homework. It's to get our lesson plan, to become more of ourselves. It's like to become and embody more of who we came here to be and our soul's essence, all the things. And I've been talking all week about surrender. So Monday's meditation was centered around surrendering. And yesterday I did a video. Like, I get so annoyed when the message comes in to surrender, because it's like, damn, what else I need to be surrendering? What else I need to be letting go? Like, you know, I feel like I'm always in a constant state of surrendering. Hey, Megan. And so I get annoyed by that. But I thought about it yesterday, like, oh, whenever I'm guided to surrender, it's because something is changing and there's an aspect of myself that I'm trying to hold on to. And I mean, for years, like since I started doing tarot up until probably like last year, because last year I really kind of stopped pulling cards for a while because it just wasn't helping me. Sometimes being so intuitive and so like psychic in a way is not helping in terms of changing your habits, because like your pattern recognition is so on that if you are becoming a totally new person, you actually kind of probably need to dial back your pattern recognition, not your intuition, but like what you know to be true, and like have to dial back what you know about your patterns so that you can create new ones. And so for a minute I stopped really pulling tarot cards, but I would always get this card in this one particular deck, and I threw the deck away because last year during this time when I was like, you know, I'm not going to be, you know, engaging in tarot for a while, I threw away all the decks I didn't really like resonate with. But I would always get this card said let go, and I would get so irritated, like, what else you want me to let go? Like, I didn't picked up and moved to a whole different state. I let go of this nigga. I let go of all these friends. Like, what more do you want me to let go, Spirit? And it hit me at the beginning of the year, like when I was really going through it with my sisters and like having to go not no contact. It was like, oh, all this time, it was not about letting other people go. It was about letting go this version of me that I've been trying to hold on so tight to. And yesterday I was thinking about surrender, and it's like, oh, okay, there's a part of me that I need to surrender and let die. And it brought me to this idea of identity. Like, what do you feel like identity is? Because I think we're in a constant state of having ego deaths, a constant state of having to surrender to our identity and what we think we know about who we are. Because the idea is that, like, yeah, you should be self-assured. You should have a good self-concept and know yourself and be confident, have self-confidence, all these things. But you should also still be a student to yourself. You should also still be open and, like, be willing. Like, when I think of meditation and when I think of, like, having a good sense of self, I think of I'm open to the ways that, like, my higher self is teaching me about who I am. That, like, it is leading me into learning who I am even more. And so this idea that you are going to fully know yourself or be firmly rooted in identity, I don't know if that can be true if we're in a constant state of learning and being a student. Which made me look up the etymology of identity. And the etymology is sameness. In Latin, I think it's the dent part of identity means same. So if we overly are attached to identity and how we identify, it's also meaning we are unwilling to change. So it's just something I'm thinking about, like, how do I identify myself? Do I need to have identity? Because I think identity and character and integrity is two separate things. Like, I think you need to have character, sure, because that's the foundation of who I am. But okay, I will. But when it comes to identity, if I'm being open to being a student, which means I'm in a constant state of evolving and learning and becoming, I can't stay rooted to being the same. And so I got to be willing to allow different aspects of my life to change, for me to change. There can't be any real attachment to who I am today, because tomorrow I may be different. So I think this week has been showing me new ways of looking at detachment when it comes to myself, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to emotions, that we can't really be attached to anything, or it will become a part of our identity. Anything that we are wanting to hold on to will become a part of our identity, and once it becomes a part of our identity, it makes it only that much harder to let go. So anytime you feel like this I'm having a hard time letting this go, I'm having a hard time removing myself from this relationship. I'm having a hard time removing myself from this job, from this home. It's because it has become a part of your identity. And in that, I guess in the let go of it, of being able to surrender to it, you are not just surrendering that relationship, you are surrendering who you know yourself to be, but also in the surrender, you get to hold space for who you're becoming. And I think that's the part that we miss. That like, damn, I gotta let this go. That we totally dismiss that now we get to be creative. Now we get to call in the things that we want. We get to call in, oh, I've been dreaming about all these things. When in the surrender, we are so stuck in our grief that we are not looking at the bright side. And I like to think I love a reframe. That like I try to reframe anything for my benefit, and I think that is what leads to my curiosity. Hey, Leisha, that's what leads to my life looking different than probably my circumstances, is because I'm always asking like, okay, this is an unfavorable situation. Help me see the good in this. Help me see the love in this. And it's like, that also has to be front and center in the surrendering. Then I'm a surrender this. I'm gonna take my hands off of it. But in the taking your hands, now your hands are open. Now you're open to receive. And so in that space of receiving, call in the things that you truly want. Call in the things that like are your true heart's desires. And I think that lifts the grief into love. That's why in ladies live earlier, somebody said something about grief is heavy. Well, I agree, but I think the grief is heavy when we lose sight. You're also surrendering that timeline. A small change still changes everything. Correct. And I think, speaking of like timeline shifting, because I feel like a lot of people talk about like quantum leaping, timeline shifting, that all it takes is a decision to timeline shift. That it ain't really all it is like woo-woo-ness of like you gotta quantum leap, you gotta take yourself into a whole new world or realm. It's a decision. I seen a reel yesterday on Instagram. Sorry, I spaced out for a minute because I was thinking about this. I seen a reel yesterday on Instagram, and she was saying that like deciding is a manifestation because it weeds out all the other options. So even in like the feeling of like being chosen, this is kind of the realm of the analogy she gave. It's like we be so focused on being chosen and like trying to avoid rejection, when rejection is just a reflection of someone deciding what they want, and like it's just not you. Like they have decided that they want this thing, and like you're just not in alignment with that decision, which is fine because you also have the opportunity to decide. That like we get caught up on other people deciding, when like it only reveals that you two have an opportunity to decide, and it is proof that we will always get what we decide. That our life is geared towards aligning us with our decisions. It's just we're not open to receiving them because of not wanting to I think reject people or reject offerings. They're like, okay, I decided I want to make 100K. And so now I'm applying to these jobs, but then this job come through and they're offering me 95. I decide to take it because like, well, it's close. even though there is a job out there that would be in alignment with paying me 100K, but now I'm not willing to reject this offer, because I also too don't want to be rejected from that 100K job. So like, if you start looking at people's decisions as like, yes, they are rejecting me, but I too am rejecting a whole lot of stuff too in my decision. That like, everybody is rejecting something. If you are making a decision, we are all rejecting something. Hey, Darlena. Rejection is not just protection, but also redirection. Yes, we can go down a new path. Yeah, and I feel like the new path is where we get free will, because we can choose. We could decide the path. That like, I think a part of it is like preordained, and like our path is laid out. But I also think that's the magic of our desires. I truly believe our desires are placed by the divine, God, whomever you believe, that like, we don't just want something just because we want it. That on a soul level, we know we're already supposed to have it. TikTok got my girl all covered up on here. Oh, you talking about me? It's just cold in my house. In my house today. Jameer keep turning on the AC after I turned it off, and I just been in here freezing all day. I just haven't went and turned it off. You won't conceive an idea you cannot birth. I like that. So, anywho, that's just like my thoughts around identity, and I guess like unpacking how do I identify myself, because I feel like I'm not who I was. I know that for sure. So I feel like a lot of what I probably would have identified with prior to now, I don't. And in this space of like saying like, no, I don't identify with that anymore. Thinking of, well, do I create, or do I embrace a new identity, or are we even supposed to? Like, are we supposed to just be open to the unfolding of how we're always evolving and changing? Like, if the etymology of identity is sameness, and I want to be open, I don't know. Even reading Lady Ethlyn Fierce Substack of like, I guess we're always healing, we're always changing, we're always doing something else or new. But have we become ourselves? I guess I'm processing this in real time, so this ain't really no lecture. I'm asking y'all to chime in of like, what do you think about this? Do you think there is a such thing as having a firmly rooted identity while also being open? And like, is there a such thing as like being yourself if you are in the pursuit of being a thing? Like, if you're saying like, I have this picture of this woman I'm becoming, and so I'm striving for that, or are you just being present with who you are today and allowing yourself to choose every moment, every day, with every decision, this is who I'm becoming? That like we're not necessarily striving for the end goal, but like we become every day. I'm gonna go up a little bit. I see. This is so timely. I just had to tell myself to let go of who I thought I wanted to be. I see a self as infinite possibility. Identities are the costumes we take on and off. I like that because in this, have y'all? I'm assuming a lot of y'all have watched Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, my favorite one was Arya Stark and how she went through the like initiation of no names, and like the goal was to become no one. So like you're not attached to becoming, because she had to detach from Arya Stark of the Stark lineage, and so that she can become herself. She can fully be who she needed to be in order to like fully live out her destiny. So like her destiny was to kill the night walkers. She could not have done that had she not become no one. I think we need a rooted foundation that continues to grow. I think the rooted foundation would be your character, would be like your core values. And it's like your core values will be what you utilize in your decisions. Absolutely. Being who you are and open for change is a good place to be. I think you should try your best to match your identity to who you are becoming. But the thing about matching your identity to who you are becoming, if you are trying to match your identity to who you are becoming, you're too far in the future. That like each step is laid out day by day, moment by moment, decision by decision. And if you already have a preconceived notion of who you think you should be or who you think you should become, you will be resistant to the ways that your soul is asking you, no, go left. No, that's not who we are no more. No, I'm not. I want to get out of this relationship, because you have this idea of like, this is who I'm becoming. I'm becoming this type of woman. But it's like, that may have worked for you today. This idea, this perception that you were trying to live out to become may work for you today. It may not work for you tomorrow. Arya was willing to let go of the old to become who she needed. Yeah. You can tell a lot about folks by the decisions they make. Yeah, I think you could tell a lot about people by the decisions they make. And I think you could tell a lot about a person by one of the decisions they're not willing to make, but how the permission they'll give themselves in making decisions. Because the permission piece, I think, has to come internally. So, like, going back to, like, what I was saying initially is that, like, when we're called inward, when we're called into hermit mode, when we're called into isolation, when we're called into meditation, we are returning in a place that will automatically give us permission. Because it's a different type of decision making when somebody tell you, oh, you should do this. Oh, I done went to therapy. I have this coach. I have this mentor. They're telling me to do this. That could be wise counsel. That could be good information. It's a totally different type of guidance when you get guidance internally from your own will. It's something you can't deny. It don't matter how much you are trying to not make that decision. It'll keep showing up. It'll keep showing up in everything you do. So, like, when we go inward, that is the surrender. It is the surrender to say, like, I am giving myself permission to fully see myself. I'm giving myself permission to fully become. that I don't even know what's on the other side of this, because when we're going inward, we're going into darkness. We're choosing to say, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm choosing to become no one. I'm choosing to detach myself from who I think I am. In meditation, I am not Valerie. In meditation, I am not a mother. In meditation, I am not a sister. I'm not a friend. I'm knowing. And so I'm going back to receive. This is who we are today. This is what we're deciding today. And I think that's something like really powerful about that. That like at any moment we could be someone totally different. But are we willing? Are we willing to surrender? And I think that's the ask of meditation. That's the ask of going inward. That's the ask. If we're going to be fully embodied, we have to be an open channel. We have to become no one. It's wild. I've been saying I'm something like nothing during this becoming phase. I like that. And there's something very egoic, because it also feels like, well, I don't want to say I'm nothing. I don't want to say I don't know who I am. I don't want to say I don't have an identity. So that's where the attachment comes into, like, well, are you attached to this version of Valerie? That's why you don't want to say that? Because of course there's plenty of things that I love about this version of Valerie. And that's the thing too, like when we talk about ego death and identity and having to shift, a lot of people only see that for like the parts they don't like about themselves. Oh, this insecure. There are parts of me that I have had to shed that I really enjoyed, that I really liked. And it's like, I'm also having to like surrender that piece too. Now, I do feel like in the surrendering, you do become more. You do become a more elevated version of it. But it is hard to surrender the parts of you that you like. I actually like this about myself. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to give this up. And that's the part that's like, hold on now. I don't want to say I'm nothing. I also see self like Barbie. Who is Barbie truly? She has a billion identities: nurse, cowgirl, etc. Yeah. So like, I guess we get to play dress up each day. But I think in the dress up, if you're not going inward, if you're not taking the time to really listen and ask yourself, who are we today? Really having like a check-in with yourself. How do we want to dress today? Who are we today? You don't really get to shift into, like, I guess, a new identity. You'll stay the same. And I think this is why collectively we are having a hard time with this Aries energy, is because it is asking us to become different. Aries is the first zodiac, so it wants to be authentic. It wants to be different. It wants to be new and fresh. And it asks us to like surrender some things, let it go, become new. Each day can definitely be a different honoring of ourselves. I think that's why I like doing my devotionals different each day, because it does allow me to tap in with a different version of myself each day. Even week by week, I'm probably never really doing the same thing every week. It'll be something a little bit different. There was something else I was going to say. I had a brain fart. brain fart. Let me think. I've been studying Barbie more since the movie. Epitome of self versus identity. Epitome of self. Let me look up what epitome means, because I think I know what it means, but I don't want to be assuming. A person or thing that is a perfect example of a particular quality or type. A summary of a written work. Epitome of self versus identity. So the perfect self versus identity. I don't know. I would have to think about that more. But yeah, these are just things I've been thinking about over the, I don't mean perfect self. That's why I'm like, let me look up what epitome means. Cause like I guess how I'm thinking of epitome is like, if you say like the epitome of something, is like the perfect example of it, or like that is like the perfect expression of it. So that's why I had to look it up. Like, I don't know. Maybe I need to think about that more. What else did I want to say in regards to this? I'll just talk about the Aries. This like all these planets in Aries. Aries is in my 7th house, which is my house of relationships, which I think our relationships can keep us stuck in identity. So like I even read a post yesterday, it was saying like basically Libra rising should be looking at their relationships of like, who do I have to be in this relationship, basically. And I feel like I don't really have any more I feel like I didn't like clear house pretty much on relationships where I feel like I couldn't fully be myself. But it has made me think of like, I guess what Lady was talking about earlier as far as mirrors. Because if relationships are our identity mirrors, so if we're going to unpack, okay, I don't want to be locked into one identity. I don't want to categorize myself as this is who I am, because we are always changing and evolving. One, that also means we got to be open to our relationships constantly changing and evolving. And I guess choosing relationships that allow, or I don't want to say allow, but can adjust. I would say that. Adjust to you changing and evolving. And this is something I have also experienced, like with my human design being a manifesting generator, I am changing often, and I am usually moving at a different speed than I think most people. And when I started to learn more about human design, it was very affirming, because it made me realize I can't slow down for people, but I also can't expect people to be able to move at the same speed that I move at either. That like I'm typically doing multiple things at once. Like most manifesting generators are. So I might have a couple hobbies at once. I might be reading a couple books at once. I might have a couple jobs at once because of just having a larger capacity. And what I have experienced in relationship with friends and family, that sometimes that can be intimidating because now you feel like, well, you doing all this, well, maybe I should be doing something too. Or like, you didn't pick up a new hobby, maybe I need to do that too. And it's like, actually, I don't need the people around me to, I guess, do what I do or at the speed. Just accept that I'm doing multiple things and it don't have anything to do with you. Like, even lady suggesting doing the meditation weekly. She suggested that last week, and I already got the ball rolling on it. Not because I even did anything quickly, but because I already kind of had the systems in place to do that. But I've had these systems in place for probably like 2 years. So like, learning more about my human design has also helped with detachment, because I will be called to do something that I may not know why I'm doing it for another year, another 2 years. That may not make sense until much later down the line. And how that has hindered me in relationships is like when people are questioning why I'm doing something and I can't really explain it, or why I feel a certain type of way, why I sorry, this man outside my window talking to himself. Not I usually can't fully explain why I'm doing a thing until that thing fully comes to life, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. But that has been a hindrance before. Systems and structures has helped me tremendously as a MG. Yes. Systems and structures, but in a when I think of how my life is structured, it's structured, but as outside looking in, it will probably look chaotic to anyone else. That, like, it makes sense to me. So you could possibly be preparing yourself for something later in the future. Yes. So I made a post yesterday and I was asking, like, people who also do, like, other spiritualists who do Akashic record work, I wonder if this is also a thing. Because I feel like I am often doing something way ahead of time. And it's very, very frustrating because it can lead to feel like, okay, I started this thing and it failed. Or I started this thing and nobody was interested. I started this thing, or creatively this happens, but I think even in relationships, emotionally, I might be picking up on something that hasn't really surfaced yet. I'm just feeling the energetics of it, and so I can't really pinpoint it. I can't really say what it is just yet. But by the time the thing happens, I feel like I can move quickly because I've already processed it, if that makes sense. Like, I'll give an example. Last year I had a friendship breakup. 3 days before the friendship breakup, I literally had a thought about me not being this person's friend no more. Mind you, we were good. No problems. As far as I know, we're in a good place. I have a thought. And when I have this thought, I'm thinking, why did you think that? That's very weird. Why did you think that? I put it in my back pocket, though, because I know how these things work. Fast forward 3 days, she called me out the blue, say, like, something happened. I got to tell you. Mind you, the thing that she had to tell me happened 3-4 years ago. but you just now telling me, it's like, oh, this is why I had that thought the other day. So by the time we have this conversation, I'm already knowing, oh, this is over. Friendship over, gone, cool, bye. Had I not thought that thought 3 days ahead, I probably would have tried to bargain. I probably would have been in my head of like, I can't just, jump out of this relationship like this. I gotta think it through. We can have a deeper conversation. And it's like, nah. I had this thought 3 days ago, and now I know why. Cool, bet. Same thing with my sister. I had a dream about me and my sister no longer talking, and some shit happened 6 months prior. When I had the dream, I'm like, I can't deal with this right now. I got other shit to worry about. But when we had our discourse, I knew then this is over. I already dreamed about this. I already know. But had I not had that foresight, had I not energetically had to process that, when it happened, I would have been distraught. Was I sad? Yes. Was it hard to deal with? Yes, but I think I would not have been able to deal with it in the capacity that I did had I not had that like little, I guess, foresight. I was having dreams of betrayal. So I think when people are psychic, I don't think it's really like this woo-woo thing. I think it's pattern recognition. You are just sensing a pattern way before it's revealed. And I think it's nervous system based. Really, it stems from trauma. That like you're so traumatized, you want to know something so ahead of time that you start processing it early, because if you process it when it happens, it might be too overwhelming. And so your body, your nervous system kicks into gear early so that you don't get overwhelmed when it happens. And so I think like to be psychic is really just when you're overly traumatized, but also because your nervous system is at work. Agreed. It works best when we trust it the first time it's revealed. Yeah, I think me diving deeper spiritually is what allowed me to build a good sense of self-trust, or a better sense of self-trust. Because I think, like when I think about that friendship breakup and me getting that thought 3 days ahead, had that happened a couple years ago, I wouldn't have thought nothing of it. I just would have like, oh, that's a coincidence. Now I don't think nothing is a coincidence. If I dream about something, I may not be like, oh, this is the truth, because I feel like I be having like some really wild dreams. But I definitely keep it in my back pocket. So like if it does happen, I'm not surprised. Why do we have dreams of people out of our lives or no longer talk to? That has been happening to me all week. I've been associating these people are coming into my dreams because they can't contact me in real life. Also, I think dreams will show you where you still have a emotional attachment to. So like even the people that have come up in my dreams this week, I have been questioning myself, like, why are they showing up? Is there still any emotional attachment? Is there still like some energetic debris that I need to clear? Because also when I cut somebody off, or I have decided that I don't fuck with you no more, I will scrub you from every part of my life. So I'm gonna delete pictures, text threads, phone number, you blocked. And so the only place you can exist is in my subconscious. So I feel like that's how you can come through my dreams. I feel like the only people I haven't been able to do that with is one of my kids' fathers, because I feel like Like Jameer dad is blocked. Cause she old enough to maintain that relationship. I don't have to, but uh, I feel like I will scrub. I did get a friend request though this week from a old friend, but this old friend wasn't. There really is no beef. We just kind of grew apart. You be ahead for real. I remember when you used to speak about somatic healing, and now it's prevalent. Yeah, I've been talking about this shit for like 3-4 years. So like how now everybody's talking about nervous system healing and somatic healing. I was talking about this probably like 2022, 2021. Yeah. But I think that also speaks to like I think I just process things or maybe move at a different speed. Because like even when I talk about spiritual stuff and like some of my ideas or philosophy about spirituality, I started with like hoodoo and ancestor veneration and stuff like that. It's just at a certain point I feel like it didn't resonate anymore, and it made me more curious. So like, okay, what's beyond this? But that's also why I talk about curiosity in the way that I do, because I think you can only continue to become new and reinvent yourself and become nobody if you're curious. Just think about when you tap into curiosity, you are wiping away what you think you know. To remain curious is a very innocent, I am willing to surrender what I think I know. I'm stepping out of being a grown ass woman right now. I'm really just open to receive. Hey, Monet. And I think like we have to. I think as women, that's the struggle. How do you keep your innocence and your curiosity with maturity? Because curiosity and innocence can also be can also produce being naive. So how do you create a space where you are still curious but also mature, also still responsible? And I think that only comes from discernment and being able, and like self-trust. That like now you have enough memory and experience to say, I trust the ways in which my intuition tells me when something is off. Because curiosity will leave you open to like just, any and everything. But you also will have to be able to feel into your body what is right. So like in the realm of curiosity, there may be many, many things that pop up. How will you know which is true if you can't tune into your intuition and go to what feels like an energetic resonance? How long did you do veneration? Probably like, let me see. I got into like ancestor veneration 2019. Up until like 2021. So 2 years. Do you believe dreams are subconscious processing? Yeah. I think our dreams is our way of processing things we can't in real life. I think our dreams are how we communicate with ourselves. So like if it's something that keeps popping up in your life that you keep rejecting, you keep picking the same man, you keep picking the same repeating patterns, whatever, it'll show up in your dreams. But it'll show up in your dreams like a nightmare or something that you probably will also try to reject. Like, I really enjoy dream decoding. Like, I be excited when like, for instance, I've been having dreams all week about exes, but also ex friends, and even my sister. All of them were trying to talk to me. They were all trying to have a conversation with me, and in the dream, I wasn't responding. I was just like observing in a way. And what I took from that is, oh, they miss how I hold space. They don't actually miss being in relationship with me. They miss being able to talk to me because I held space for them. I have a friend that is promiscuous that I don't really trust, and I had a dream. That's why I was asking Lady in her live, like, her friend that she so like kept recycling partners and was cheating. Did she eventually start to treat her shady too? Wait, with one of your exes? Oh wow. Yeah, the clues is always there. Even when I think about my friendship breakup last year, when I thought about it, it was like, oh yeah, I should have seen this coming. Like, this wasn't this shouldn't have caught me off guard. Even though, I mean, technically it didn't, because I feel like my intuition gave me a heads up. But even prior to then, like, I wasn't looking at her character. I wasn't looking at how she moved through integrity with herself or with the people around her. I was just caught up in the, like, oh, this is my friend. I love her. I like her. We enjoy each other. But I wasn't. I feel like, because that's the hard part, I think, of, like, you want to love and think highly of your friends and not be judgmental. They're like, and I have a hard time with trying not to be judgmental because I mean, I feel like people know, like, as a Virgo, people say Virgos are judgmental, and I agree that we can be judgmental, but I try not to be because of that stereotype. Like, I don't want to be judgmental. What was her response? Talked to her about it, and she said it's probably because we have the same type. No. There's plenty niggas in the world that, like, I don't care how much of the same type you got. I don't think you should be fucking with your friend X. There's too many niggas in the world. They're like, even if there's too many of the same type of niggas at that, like, that don't even make no sense. She talked to anything that walk. And I think somebody who talked to anybody and is promiscuous, they are looking to fill a void. And anybody looking to fill a void will do so out of desperation. And once you desperate, you don't have integrity. Once you desperate, you don't have strict boundaries. That, think about it like a drug addict. Once they in desperation to keep this habit up, once they in desperation to get that dopamine hit, they don't give a fuck who who get hurt in that process, because they're not even in their right mind. Literally, they're not in their they're stuck in their logic. They're like, all they could do is think about soothing the mind. They're like, they can't think about nobody's emotions. Nah, I would never do that, girl. We just like the same type. Yeah, that's... Was she still trying to be friends after that? Or are y'all still friends? I mean, I would hope not, but... If you don't like how she moves, she can't be friends with you. I did a video it's probably been a year now. Oh no, that was a dream. I would take that as information. Even if you don't want to act on it, put it in your pocket. Because I take my dreams seriously. I am never shown something in my dream by accident. So even with that, say she wouldn't sleep with... Let me think about this. You walked in on her under the covers with an ex. Somehow, in a probably a subtle way, she's siphoning your energy. This is how I came to that. So, as men, naturally, you have a sexual exchange. They take on it's an exchange. You're exchanging their energy, and in a way, a man can siphon it. And then when a man siphons your energy, a lot of times when they go on, they start dating other people. The woman likes his new woman likes you, not him. He like the energy he got on him, and so really they attracted to you. So if you walk in a dream, if you walk into the room, she under the cover. One, them being under the cover means it's discreet, it's insidious, it's hidden. She's doing this maybe subconsciously. So maybe she not doing it intentionally, or like I'm trying to siphon her energy. She's doing it in a, maybe not even in a malicious way, but she's doing it in a way that is covert. That's the word. And she wants your energy. Yeah. Even if you think about them being in the bed together, beds represent where we go in our subconscious. So this might be like a subconscious thing that she might envy you, and like it's subtly trying to like take on your energy. It might be something about you. Siphon. Siphon is just I guess a different way of saying like trying to subtly take your energy. Especially if she sees you as confident, as empowering, and she's promiscuous, maybe insecure. She's trying to probably take on your energy of like, I want to be this type of woman. And I feel like that can be dangerous because, again, there's a void there. If she's promiscuous and she's looking at you like in an envious way of this is how she presents, I want to take this on, and she likes what your energy feels like, it will become an addiction because she doesn't know how to cultivate that within herself. Back to like drug addicts, they have to get a substance to make them feel euphoric. So they will have to keep, and each time they do this drug, they gotta take on more. This is how the addiction happens. It's like the first time is cool, but each time they're gonna need a little bit more. and then, it's going to get out of hand. So I would take that dream as a heads up. Hey, she's siphoning your energy. This could get out of hand. You might want to cut it off. This has happened multiple times in the past. Instead of working on herself, she wanted to steal energy. Yeah, draw out. That would probably be a better way of saying it. I had a similar dream like this about my mama when I was pregnant. Pregnancy dreams be really wild. Lady, we could talk about that. Because it's also interesting that she passed after you had your son. Can you take your energy back from someone? Yeah, you can take your energy back from somebody. You're going to have to, cut off communication or exchanging with them. Take that back. How you take back your energy will be redirecting whatever it is that you was giving to them to you. Redirect the energy and see if that relationship can sustain itself afterwards. Because I think siphoning energy may not always be a malicious thing, but you'll know if that relationship can survive y'all no longer being codependent. Because also in the whole siphoning of energy, it's just codependence. They're using your energy to self-regulate. So you snatch yourself back, you start regulating on your own, then that leaves them to also have to regulate on their own. And either they will rise to the occasion of being able to regulate on their own, or they'll go out and find somebody else. It really comes to take back your energy would be to sit with your own energy. Because a lot of times, this is also, I used to talk a lot about narcissism and empaths, but I stopped because I feel like when people are talking about narcissists, they're in victim mode. That they want the narcissist to be the bad guy, and sure, they're the bad guy, but you played a part in it. They didn't just start siphoning your energy just off of the strength of, oh, you're just such a nice person. You just have such a big heart. No, you were giving that energy to them, and you sought out that person to give it to them. That's the part that nobody wants to take accountability for, that the empath also seeks out the narcissist. The same with we seek out these friends, and it's because it's familiar. We are not victims. No, I think I got in a debate I think on Threads about this, because I was saying you can't be an alchemist and be a victim. Either you're going to be an alchemist, you're going to be a healer, you're going to be sovereign, you're going to be healed, or you're not. Now, if you're not, cool, fine. Go talk about that somewhere else. But if you talking about expanding your capacity and regulating your nervous system and healing and all the shit we be talking about, and then you want to have a deep conversation about a narcissist, you're not ready for that. A narcissist ain't doing nothing but showing you. A narcissist ain't doing nothing but showing you your own level of self-abandonment. You stop abandoning yourself, the narcissist will abandon you. That's how you get rid of a narcissist. Start centering you. They'll leave on their own because they're going to go seek out someone else. They'll leave you alone. Do you think empaths do it purposely? No, but I also don't think if empaths aren't doing it purposely, then you would have to give the same grace to the narcissist. I don't think neither are doing them purposely, like, oh, I'm finna go out and seek this narcissist. No, you're doing it unconsciously. Yes. So are you conscious of it? No. Of like, I am choosing this. I am deciding this. But this is where our subconscious really runs the show. This is why they say we only really use 10% of our brain, because it's not that we only have 10% function of our brain. We only utilize 10% because we're only fully conscious 10%. That other 90% means our subconscious, means our subconscious patterns, our subconscious programming is running the show. And how do we get our subconscious programming and patterns? Is from our mothers. Anytime between 0 and 7, we are in a meditative state. From 0 to 7, our children is damn near in hypnosis. They are taking in all of this information. They are taking in all of this programming. And that's going to be the programming they live with for the rest of their life until they say, I no longer want to repeat this. I need to do some subconscious reprogramming. I need to check my own belief system on this. I guess it's tying into identity, that like we are constantly having to deprogram ourselves so that like who you are today may not be who you are tomorrow, because you might realize a different belief, a different pattern, which changes everything. We got to do a full reboot. Then now I have this new belief. The new belief may now be, I love myself. The new belief might be, now I respect myself. The new belief, I deserve support. I deserve community. I deserve abundance. I deserve to be wealthy. I deserve all of the things. Each time we say we deserve that and we really start to believe it, a whole new identity appears. We got to do a whole new rebirth, transformation, death, all of the things. So like the things that we like, oh my God, I gotta let this part of myself go. I have all this resistance. I don't want to die to myself. Is really saying like, I don't want the things I've been saying I want. That is literally what's happening. Is you're saying, I don't want the things that I've been saying I want. I don't want them that bad that I gotta like die to myself. I was just talking. I was just saying these affirmations in a mirror. That like I didn't really know the cost that was gonna come with it. New stories create new identities. So going back to the question, no, I don't think empaths do it purposely. I think they do it unconsciously. But I also think the narcissist is unconscious. But I think there's a narcissist that became a narcissist because of being arrested, because of arrested development, as in like they just never learned how to fully emotionally process. And then I think there's narcissists who are just born that way. And I think that's where you get to like psychopaths and people who are just like void of emotion or empathy. I think you'll know if you have come across like a real, for real narcissist versus somebody has a narcissistic traits, which I think to a certain degree, we all have narcissistic traits because we all have blind spots. I think to fully be without those traits, you would be angelic, and I don't think you would be here on earth. So I think that's where I kind of check out of the conversation of empaths and being a good person, because it's like, if you was that good of a person, you wouldn't be here. You'd be an angel. You be helping. You'd be a spirit guide on the other side. No one is here and has finished their work. So get over this idea that you such a good person. To somebody, you probably a narcissist. New stories create new identities. So maybe that's a good maybe prompt or something you could work on while all this Aries energy is happening. Is like, how are you rewriting your story? If we're shedding, if we're having to purge and purify and do all the things, this is a good time to also do subconscious programming. You are dispelling all the buzzwords I've heard around spirituality. I appreciate your perspective. Thank you. I think this is because I know I talk about things maybe a little different, has also why I have had a fear around being misunderstood, a fear of being perceived or seen, because I won't say I'm the only one talking like this. I don't think so, but it's not many, especially amongst the spiritual community. Everybody think they are love and light. Everybody think they are a guru or a god or a teacher or some type of savior. And it's like, even in my spiritual work and guiding, whatever, I don't want to be nobody's savior. I would rather give you the tools, you implement them in your life, and do your thing. Even in meditation, I always say, like, I'm guiding the meditation. Yes, I'm sharing the meditation, but I am in my own meditation. So I hope you in yours. I hope you get in what you need out of yours, and you're traveling and you're seeing things and you're experiencing yourself, because I'm just sharing my meditation with you. I'm just thinking out loud. Yes, I run away from those communities. Yeah, I feel like I guess I have ran away from those communities too, but it has also made me feel like I don't fit in, or I don't have a sense of belonging, and it has only made me more like introverted. But I feel like the more I come on live with y'all and I'm talking to y'all, it's like, oh, maybe I probably do need to share more, because y'all seem to appreciate it. But because I've had these like debates privately too. Like my other sister, she is like a spiritualist too, but she more on like African traditional spirituality and like hoodoo, and we always have a difference of opinions. And because she's older too, she always feels like, well, you're doing it wrong. It's like, okay. You thought about narc and empath. Your thoughts about narc and empath really brought clarity. When you were like, I don't need all those tools, cards and such, I was like, yes. Now I do still use, I use tarot, and I would say even tools, but I don't think the magic come from the tools. I don't think the wisdom come from the tools. They're like, I think you use the tools to communicate with your subconscious. So even how Mimi asked about, do I believe dreams are our subconscious processing? Yes, but also I think you have to build a relationship with your subconscious, because our subconscious speaks in riddles. It speaks in code and symbols and patterns. And I can have a dream and wake up and know exactly what it means, because I'm constantly building this relationship with my subconscious. That like meditation, tarot, all these different ways that like now I'll be finding it funny, like the ways that I leave myself clues, because I feel like now my subconscious knows how to talk to me, which has only made me more intuitive. So that too has helped a great deal in building self-trust, which is why I said this is probably like a very woo-woo perspective, but I think like every woman needs some type of divination tool because it is a great tool to build self-trust, but also self-devotion, but self-trust to where like I feel like I am never really lost on where I am in my journey, which is also why I think I probably move at a quicker speed, because it don't take that long for me to get it. Because like if I'm uncertain or I'm confused about something, it's only because I'm waiting for information. But once I have the information, I'm going to do something about it. So like even I was telling a lady yesterday, with all this Aries energy, I feel like an abundance of energy, but I don't know what to do with it yet. But I also know, and so it feels like anxiousness. I wouldn't say anxiety, but it just feels like anxiousness. Like I feel like I drunk an energy drink or something. But I know, because I feel like this often, I guess, or often enough, that like, oh, I'm about to receive a download about something, and I'll be utilizing this energy for something. I just don't know what I'm using it for yet. So back to like, I feel like I get a heads up, but it's only because I think I have a good relationship with my subconscious now. Like even like I think tarot is probably like my favorite tool. And even tarot, like my subconscious will leave me messages. Like I don't have to just pull a tarot card. I've been walking, like I'm walking and I found a tarot card. It's like, this is very random. Or say I'm talking to somebody, because tarot cards also are just energetic imprints. It's a way to read energy. And so I could be having a conversation and a tarot card pop in my head, and it's like, oh, okay, I know what this means. So I think like to be able to decode the subtle ways your subconscious speaks to you is beneficial. The magic is in us, not on us. Apparently it be on us too, because my friend who I guess affirmed me yesterday, I guess was saying like, yeah, I see you as like magical and mystical and ethereal and all these things, and it's just like, okay, so I guess it ain't just in me, it is on me too. Well, okay, I'm gonna send you a DM. Okay. I guess I'll hop off of here. What else do I want to talk about? Meditation Mondays. Meditation Mondays is full in effect. It's a meditation space I have created. Every Monday we'll be getting together for 1 hour. The meditation lasts for about 30-40 minutes, and then we journal afterwards. It's a great way to start your week. It's a great way to return to yourself and like have a check-in with yourself. I like that it's on Mondays, because Mondays are ruled by the moon, so we're naturally more intuitive, or like drawn inward on Mondays. And I don't know, this week has been good for me. How do you feel, lady? I will say, because lady was like, meditation will show you some things. It ain't all blissful, and I agree. But I think of meditation as like, yeah, kind of getting your assignment. So like in a way, it's like checking in with your own inner guru. So like if you could go sit with a mentor, a coach, a guide, and hear hard things from them, you can check in with yourself and hear hard things from yourself too. Or God, the divine, however you want to, choose to believe it. I think I believe that God, the divine, spirit, Jesus, Buddha is our inner guru. Like it is all one and the same. Baby, it's work, but it's like being proactive. You got to get up and get straight to it. What I like most about meditation is that we get to observe, no need to act or acknowledge right away. That I wanted to talk about that. Meditation will help you build your capacity for whatever. It will help you build a better relationship with building capacity. Because in order for you to be able to sit in meditation, you also have to sit with discomfort. Because think about when you get into meditation, first you're having like racing thoughts and your mind might be going through all these different topics, which is also a sign of maybe a little bit of anxiety. And so if in meditation you're focused on your breath, you're focused on being centered, you're already preparing to build your capacity for this discomfort. Okay, then you get past your thoughts being all over the place, and now you get into like your zen, I guess. And then more shit come up. And then you get to have like a dialogue with yourself or whomever may show up, because sometimes, a spirit or a deity or whomever may show up. And then you have that connection or dialogue or what have you. And it also teaches you about capacity building. So like when we talk about capacity, embodiment, nervous system regulation, sitting with yourself, it really don't take all of this work. It takes for you to sit down and be still. If you can build the capacity to sit with yourself through all dispositions, through the discomfort, that is meditation. That you're not holding on to this thought, you're not holding on to this feeling, that like you're allowing it to pass. You're returning to your breath and saying, okay, I noticed this. Cool. I'm still going to just breathe through it. I think that's one of the best ways of capacity building. When I think about I guess my journey over the last couple of years, breath work and meditation has been a great teacher. A great teacher. A lot, even when I say like, I'll probably talk about spirituality from a different perspective, or like the things that I talk about are from a different perspective. Most times I have gotten a different perspective because I've sat in meditation. Being a witness to my thoughts is definitely helpful to me. Yeah, also meditation has taught me a lot. I guess the same, taught me a lot about observing. And you could learn a lot about people and things from just observing. A lot of times people will tell on themselves. Everything, even in my readings, I usually will tell people to write a list of all the things that you want to know in the reading. And I'll wait if I do a reading, I'll tell somebody, write down all the questions you want to ask. I'm going to ask you at the end if I answer them, but don't tell me the questions ahead of time. And by the end of the reading, and they look at their list, it's like, oh, you answered them already. Not because I feel like I'm just all that psychic. I think just observing the person helps with that. right now will probably be a really good time to do regressions, since it's all about identity work and becoming and all of these things. A lot of times we aren't becoming because we have not given ourselves permission, and the permission is with a different version of ourselves. It might be with our 7-year-old, our 8-year-old. It might be with our mama. It might be stuck. So this will also be a good time to do like regression work. But anywho, I will post this, I think, on YouTube later. I will, well, I'm gonna talk to Lady about it. I think we're gonna go live this weekend about embodiment. If not, I'll be back Tuesday. Bye, y'all.